Hey everyone, welcome to this impromptu live. I wanted to jump on, as you guys know, it's a time on our social media channels and stuff we'll put on when we're going live, or we put out videos. Everything's related to young professionals when it comes to finances. But today I wanted to jump on this impromptu live chat just because I've been getting a lot of questions actually over the last week and a half, starting with the feud between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, and now with the riots. Basically, the messages I've been getting is, what do I think this is going to do to student loans and the student loan bill and the big, beautiful bill act that's been being talked about? So I said, hey, look, let's jump on a live today. Let's talk about it. Those of you that are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Like I said, we put out lives all the time as news comes up that is relevant to you, but we also put out videos that are everything from financial wellness to actual tips and tricks on how to pay off student loans and all that type of stuff. So subscribe to the channel. For example, tomorrow night's live, if you guys didn't see it, is going to be about the quote unquote real estate crash, why people are saying it, all that type of stuff. So be sure to stay tuned for tomorrow. But today, let's jump into it. All right, because this stuff has been dominating the news, and there's a lot of stuff that people don't think about, but it's a good learning lesson. So that way you can understand how to actually look at what's going on politically and how it's going to actually affect your money and how to analyze some of these things. Okay. First of all, before talking about the stuff going on in California, I'll start with the Musk and Trump feud, a week and a half ago. Some people are saying it was engineered. Some are saying that it's not. It's just two egos. There's an old saying, nothing in politics is random. So I always go to that side of the world. Like, nothing in this stuff is random. It's all done on purpose. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Musk knew he was leaving. And so it was like, how do we get back into the good graces of people to buy cars again? I don't know. Bottom line is that it's there. Okay. And what does that mean for this big, beautiful bill? Well, he came out, Elon Musk did, and criticized it for all the pork that's in it. Those of you that don't know what that term pork is, basically it's the way they get bills passed through Congress is that senators or House of representatives are hold out until they get, something for their, constituents or their state or whatever it is. So there's just pork, just shit just gets added on and added on and added on. That's why you can read a bill and you all of a sudden you'll come across something in it and you're like, what the hell does this have to do with this bill? It doesn't. It's just some senator wanted to throw it in there. No one's looking, so we'll pass it, right? Because it couldn't get passed with anything it's. So that's what they call pork, and it just gets bigger and bigger. So Musk came out, was like, hey, this thing sucks. It's a whole, it's just a big, debt, more money that we owe, bad news. Trump hit back saying like, hey, like he just mad because we took out all the subsidies to his company and blah, 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 blah. Anyways, like I said, it doesn't matter. Okay. What I want to know is that it's happening. I don't care about the reason why it's happening. But because of that, it's like, what's going to happen to the big, beautiful bill that has the student loan change in it? About 4 weeks ago, we did our live and we're like, look, there's got a good chance that this thing passes. Now that that's come out and they're fighting, I would say it reduces the probability of it getting passed because now other senators or other House of Representatives, once it goes back to the House, they might stand up and say, no, we're not going to vote for this thing. And they're not going to feel pressure from Musk or from other constituents to get it passed anymore because now it might look bad. So I would say that it did decrease the probability. Now, how much did it decrease? I don't know. I mean, were we at 50-50 before and now that pushed it down to a lower probability that it's not going to get passed? Were we at 80% probability it was going to pass and now it's at 70%? I don't know, but it doesn't help. Okay. And I wanted to touch on that first because it's going to actually go into a bigger theme that I'm going to talk about after I talk about the riots in Los Angeles. Okay. But let's jump into the stuff going on in Los Angeles. Again, it's the same thing. Some people are sitting there and saying, hey, this stuff, was staged. It was done on purpose. Like somebody had to leak it, right? Like how did the rioters know that ICE was going to be there? Did they just randomly show up oh, look, there's ICE. Let's start protesting. No, they were there. Just like in Minneapolis a few years ago, there's reports about crates and pallets full of cinder blocks just sitting there on blocks waiting to be used. How did they get there? Again, I see pictures nowadays, with pictures and that type of crap. It's like AI can generate a lot of these things. So what's real, what's not, I have no idea. But then on the other side, they're saying, well, this is also conspiracy by Trump. Like he's doing this stuff on purpose to take away from the distraction that the Musk Trump fight had. That's why it came out. And it's like, again, it's one of those things where I don't care why it's happening. It's happening, right? So what does this mean? Like, why is this long term? Now, this is an important lesson to learn. Okay. And this is politics for you. Democrats do not want any good things to be brought to the media about Donald Trump. And it's not just Donald Trump. Like I know younger generation, they're seeing this on Trump. They did the same thing to Bush. They did the same thing to McCain. They did the same thing to Nixon and Reagan. It's just politics. Like that's just what they do. It's just attack, 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 and distract. Meaning this, like they're very good at taking news and distracting, like in this case, the big, beautiful bill. There was other things that they tried to latch onto earlier in the year. It was the stock market's tanking. Well, the stock market's back up. So they'd let go of that. Right. It was, the country that gave Trump the plane. And it was like, well, no, that was easy to this bill because it was given to the United States while they're waiting for, so and so and so forth. Okay. So that it's in the news, hit and then gone. This thing with Elon Musk and Trump, they can latch onto, and they did until something better came along, and that's the riots. And the point is that they're trying to distract from anything being accomplished, because for the midterms as well as the next presidential election, if something good is accomplished, like this year, if they pass the Big Beautiful Bill Act and people are saving money and they're putting more money in their pocket, that's a bad thing for Democrats. So they're going to try to stall it out as much as possible by any means possible. And as you'll see tomorrow when we talk about the real estate market, about the economic crash, the unprecedented economic place that we're in right now, it's BS, which that I won't dive into that today because I'm going to touch on that tomorrow night on the Real Estate Live. But the important part is that it's a distraction. And up until 4 weeks ago, all the distractions were minor. This is a major distraction. How much will this distraction take away from the big, beautiful bill? So regardless of why you think the distraction's there, it's there. Okay. And they're going to keep fanning that flame because it's great for ratings, right? And it's great to delay on the back end so that way this bill doesn't get passed. So that student loan repayment stuff was in this bill. So if the bill gets stalled out and delayed, then that means nothing's going to happen with student loans. And the court still hasn't made a decision on SAVE yet. So is that going to keep pushing back the repayment due dates? Is it going to come out and just say, okay, well, pay as you earn and IBR are still going to be there and everything's up in kind of like limbo time because, the court's never decided on it? It's like, man, just to me, it's just more of the same bullshit. Like, can we just come up with an answer so that way this is not done? But again, this is politics. So I wanted you guys to be prepared because it was like, look, we think the whole Big Beautiful Bill Act, sometime in July or August, there's going to be a lot of movement and that it was going to be potentially going forward in some form or fashion. Now, if you had to ask me, compared to like 4 weeks ago, the probability that it happened, it's gone down. And we'll see how big these things happen because, again, those of you that don't know, like the National Guard, the Marines might be being brought up to LA from Camp Pendleton, all that type of stuff. Like, you don't know where that's going to escalate to and how long it's going to dominate the news for. And I've even heard some people say, look, it's not the Democrats doing it. It's actually, Trump doing it because people started saying, hey, this is not a good bill. And he wanted to distract from that so they can pass the bill. That to me, that's might be kind of reaching a little bit. But if you look at what's going on in LA, they're both Democrats are going to use it and Trump's going to use it. Trump's going to use it to his base saying, I'm doing my job. This is why I was elected. And, what you're seeing right now with, Governor Bass or Mayor Bass and Governor Newsom, like they're going to use it for their base. Like that's politics, right? Again, you got to cut through the noise. How does this affect you? As of right now, I think that the Big Beautiful Bill Act, the probability of it passing went down. Stay tuned because over the next week, 2-3 weeks, I'll be updating that probability, like if I think it's actually going to go through or not. So be sure, like I said, to subscribe. Like I said, that was an impromptu live. Glad you guys jumped on. As news comes out, we'll do more of these so that way you guys can get some up-to-date information. And like I said, tomorrow we did have a plan live scheduled. If you guys haven't seen that on social media yet, or not on our email list, it's tomorrow. We're talking about the real estate crash. I'm going to deeper dive into some of this politics mindset. It's going to be real enlightening because I'm going to go through with you guys some numbers. I know a lot of you, when I talk about real estate, I have said for the last 3-4 years constantly that we're in a massive bubble, like sometimes going to, pop. I'm going to show you guys some visuals tomorrow about what I'm talking about on that. So, and how, now that we have President Trump and there's an economic issue going like there, why I think that bubble can pop in the next 2 or 3 years. And the reason why, and it has to do with what I touched on tonight. So if you watch tonight, make sure you watch tomorrow night because I'm definitely going to dive into that. Again, impromptu live. Thank you guys for joining us. Have a great day. See you guys tomorrow.